The Federal Reserve famously bailed out institutions all around the world. Today, I will highlight the fact that the Federal Reserve is propping up the European banking system. Believe it or not, this is occurring. And let's first start with right from the Federal Reserve's website, federalreserve.gov. You can go to the description and check it out for yourself. Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System International Finance Discussion Papers. This is actually back in 2012, but still relevant today. If we go down here, they say the recent unprecedented buildup of cash balances by foreign banks was almost entirely composed of excess reserves. Now let's take apart that jargon. Let's get into what that really means. Let's look at this. The actual information is out of the Wall Street Journal. This is them saying this. Fed policies aid foreign banks. That's right. And down in the chart here, it shows share of bank reserves at the Federal Reserve held by foreign banks. And surely going up, creeping up and up. And that is 2014, just recent information. Of course, it's still continuing on. And if I scroll down here, there's a lot of information I'd like to get to here, but I'll just go through it very quickly. Foreign firms have received nearly half of the $10 billion in interest the Fed has paid banks since the beginning of last year for the money called reserves that they deposit at the U.S. Central Bank. And that is official data. So they're sending out $10 billion all because of this interest payments that they're paying. Now, what is the purpose of this? This is undoubtedly allowing them to be propped up. Why they have a system like this, I really don't know. They do not need to be performing these actions at all. So let me just mention one more thing here. Moreover, the Fed's plans for raising interest rates make it likely that the banks will see those payments grow in coming years. Wouldn't that be terrible if they continue to go on this policy that they, at least on the surface level, are doing of cutting back on the QE and then going for higher interest rates? They certainly could do this, at least a small amount, but a small increase in the interest rates is going to mean a big difference in the amount that they're going to pay out in interest to these other banks. So they said right here, though small in relation to their overall revenues, interest payments from the Fed have been a source of virtually risk-free returns for foreign banks, and the largest shareholders are Dutch Bank, UBS, Bank of China, Bank of Tokyo, and so on. So they go on to that. And then they also said it's a small transfer from U.S. taxpayers to foreign taxpayers. That's what happens. The American system is being used to bail out all the other systems around the world. It is notable that the Federal Reserve bailed out countless institutions, not even in its own country. Of course, that's just the way this works. Those are facts. And, to go on to continue with this, out of CNS News, rollover plan Treasury needed to pay off record $7.5 trillion, that's trillion with a T, in maturing debt in fiscal year 2013, issued $8.3 trillion in new debt, increased debt nearly $1 trillion. I mean, can you believe these numbers here? All playing with the system of debt. It's a scheme, it's a scam, and look at how this works, where the individuals, the citizens of the United States, have this central bank which is sort of quasi-government, sort of private, and they're taking the money and they print it up, which causes inflation in their own country, and then they send those dollars off to other countries around the world, propping up the system, and this just cannot work. It cannot be sustained. And in my book, I talked about this here. The QE3, Alan Greenspan himself said that it's not going to happen. There will be no QE3. It's going to continue the erosion of the dollar. The next sentence I followed with, round 3 of money printing is inevitable, as it always has been done throughout history. That's what they have to do. I also mentioned governments sacrifice their currency in order to fund their schemes and promises. Under all circumstances, you will see the dollar crash. Now, individuals right now are looking at the US dollar index, they're looking at the stock market and saying everything is fine. What are they talking about, a collapse? Well, it fluctuates up and down, but if we go on to this, Russia could ditch US dollar in 2 to 3 years. Head of Russia's #2 bank is saying that, and that is very big news. There's more information in the article, you can read it for yourself. And basically what I wanted to say was that, look, there's a lot of things happening now in this system. There are many things to be concerned about, and a currency war is undoubtedly on the top of that list, because this could take down a nation faster than anything else. And Russia and China are really spearheading this action going elsewhere. And speaking of that, Russia's really going ahead and choosing to use their own currency, choosing to use the yuan, the renminbi. Right here, this is out of the Dutch bank in Russia saying, over the last few weeks, there have been a significant interest in the market from large Russian corporations to start using various products in renminbi and other Asian currencies and to set up accounts in Asian location. This is big news. This is what's going to happen. You have a big change happening. The Federal Reserve is running their schemes, and perhaps Russia and China aren't getting on the receiving end, and they're upset about that. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? But this is undoubtable. You can read it at the top. Russia will start settling more contracts in Asian currencies, especially the yuan, in order to lessen its dependence on the dollar market. That's what they're trying to do. That's a very big thing that's happening now, and this is obviously connects into what the Federal Reserve is doing, what the US policies are doing, and these countries are fed up. If you found this informative, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the videos. It's very important to get onto these videos. There are now over 7,000 subscribers to the Money GPS. Thank you to every single one of you. I want to say hello to all the new subscribers. And if you want some more information, you should be an insider, because that's where I give out all my best intel for free, and that's available at themoneygps.com. Scroll down to the bottom, fill in your email address, and you'll get occasional emails from me with good, short, concise info.